Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Logical, Plausible, Probable. I'm your host, John Maddox, and tonight we're having another stream you just won't want to miss. If you got what it takes, click that link, but prepare yourself, for this arena is not for the weak. Now, let the mental combat begin, but always make sure your arguments are LPP.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Friday Night Madness open mic here on Logical, Plausible, Probable. It was going to be an after show, but the debate really didn't happen between Kent and James W., even though I'm not all that excited about that particular one. But, hey, it might have been interesting. We'll see if it ends up happening at some point in the future, but it's Friday night. Where I'm at, it's snowing like crazy outside, and there's no going out on the town, so why not have an open mic discussion? We'll see where the night takes us. We might have some fun, frivolity. It may turn into dumpster fire, maybe dumpster inferno. You never know. It's YouTube in 2022, and hey, it's probably the end of the world. Who knows? There's madness everywhere, so why not have a little bit of craziness here on LPP, and we'll see where the night takes us. So for anybody who wants to join, the link is in the side chat. It's pinned. Get your butt in here. Let's have some conversation. and we will hopefully have a good time. Before I do that, I want to give some shout outs. We got Cheryl in the house. What's up, Cheryl? We got Honesty Angel, Redefine Living, Jungle Jargon's here. He's actually backstage. Sea Science Film Labs is here. Greenie is here. What's up, Greenie? How you doing? I saw Ray somewhere. Oh man, Bruce G's here. Spinning Globe cartoon again. I don't know what that's talking about. Let's see. Kingdom Ready is here. Pure Icy Gold. What's going on? Wesley Coleman, how are you? Well, Dustin Buck is here. What's up, man? How are you? Well, folks, it's been an interesting week. I've had a good one. It's been a good time. And fun stuff always happens, folks. And tonight, I'm not going to address it too much this evening. However, there was a rather interesting analysis, shall we say, of yours truly by a channel that, let's just say, was interesting. And at some point, I may deign to address it, even though so much of what was addressed just showcased that we have yet another individual who doesn't actually understand the points that are made and just tries to gloss things over or act like the points that are being made have no substance when they don't even understand the point that's being made, which is really, really getting ridiculous at this point because they can't seem to grasp the difference of opinion in ontology does not change having to account for the point that's being made. But it continues to happen ad nauseum. I just don't understand it. But we will get into that later. So, without further ado, let's let people start having some conversation. We got Jungle Jargon and Inferno Disco in the backstage.
Hey, what's up?
Whoa, we had some background noise coming in there. What's up, Jungle? Welcome to the stream. We're backstage first. How you doing? What's going on? Are you getting some snow too, or are you just having some good weather still in Missouri?
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you got your fair share of snow yet.
It's coming down right now. It's definitely coming down. We've got we're supposed to get like 4 or 5 inches tonight. That's what it is right now, but it's definitely coming down.
Oh, that's good. Okay. We got like a couple inches maybe.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. Yesterday was 68 degrees. Sunday it's supposed to be in the 70s. Tomorrow the high is supposed to be like 29. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. What area are you living in, John?
I live in Nashville.
Okay, I'm actually up here north. I'm actually up further north than you in PA, and it's been very balmy today. Actually, in fact, it's only been in the last few hours that it's gone back to being unbearably cold.
Yeah, how cold is it in Nashville? I don't know the weather in Nashville. Is it cold there?
Right now it's like 28 degrees, I think it was when I got home.
By the way, I just finished. Sorry, you go.
I would say it's not that bad. I mean, we Nashville gets very. I'll put it this way: usually we have 1 week out of the year where we get snow, ice. Everybody, all the drivers here are idiots, and the city goes into complete meltdown. People don't understand like slow down when there's snow and ice. It's ridiculous. And the terrain is very hilly, so I mean it's like a lot of hills, and
that explains.
You have people who don't understand snow and ice on hills, and then they don't understand
Texan,
why
so
they're like,
I don't really understand ice.
Stop sliding. It's pretty funny, but it's all good. But like I said, I thought we were going to get away with it this year. We had like 2 days in February. We got some snow, and then it was fine. I thought, hey, we may get away with it, but we'll see what happens when I wake up tomorrow. But anyway,
gotcha.
But what's up? Welcome to the stream, Inferno Disco. How you doing? What's going
on? I'm doing good, man. I finished Stephen C. Meyer's book, Signature in the Cell. And I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm just saying this is a genuine question. It's like looking at it now, there's such a code in DNA. It's like, it's just, I feel like it's unavoidable and it's stupid to say that there isn't a literal code. Because, I mean, looking at it now, it's just like, there's such advanced coding in DNA and just such advanced coding in just like the human body overall, that I think it's far more likely that there's been a designer involved in it rather than it just happening by chance. So
definitely, yes.
Yeah,
It's like,
anybody that takes the time, I mean, Meyer's
oh
book
yeah,
is fantastic, and
oh yeah, it's
the thing is,
absolutely.
whether or not you want to agree with him from a can things evolve or so on and so forth, it doesn't change the point that he's making in relation to you must account for this. And
Yeah.
the irony of ironies, and I joke about this all the time and like bash on Evo atheists on YouTube, of they're the only ones who deny that it exists.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, I watched a video by Godless Engineer, and I really I was banging my head repeatedly against a wall because like this guy's over here denying that DNA has a code in it. Like he's saying, "Oh, it's not a literal code." But I can tell he's just ignorant on that subject because it is a code. It has been proven to be a code over and over again. Like just look at Oxford studies and whatnot. Like I have a study conducted by Oxford University that shows it's a code. And also Stephen C. Meyer puts it perfectly in his book. It is such a good book, man. I can't stress it enough.
Oh yeah, it's a phenomenal read. But yeah, in out of respect of Godless Engineer,
It is not a code. It's a chemical. It's deoxyribonucleic acid. It's an acid. I don't understand why you think it's a code. DNA is no more of a code than Diet Coke and regular Coke.
Yeah, okay, yeah. The thing about it is, I would agree with Godless Engineer that it isn't exactly one-to-one, but there's enough similarities here to be able to establish the fact that there's more than a few rhymes that you can make this clarification that DNA, although maybe not a code, definitely acts like one.
oh my god, oh my goodness, dude, Fro,
What's up?
Something either is or is not a code. Okay, this whole it's kind of like one, but it's not really one. Like that is. I don't understand why people continue to reiterate this stupid, moronic, dumbass, ignorant talking point. Like, I don't understand why. Like, I've gone over this so many freaking times. Like,
Well, okay. Well,
either you don't know what code is,
mm-hmm.
or you need to like stop regurgitating that moronic that's an Evo atheist talking point. It's
John,
it's
I'm
not
literally
really a
agreeing with
code.
you.
It's just really freaking
John,
annoying. I don't
I'm literally
understand.
agreeing with you. Okay.
No, you didn't literally agree with me. You literally agreed with the talking point that atheists spew ad nauseum.
No, not really. Again, well, because what they would say, again, they're only looking at this from a naturalistic perspective. That what we see within what we see within the DNA is just it's just acid. It's just like normal. How would I put it? It's just biological material, biological stuff. That's it. Like what Godless Engineer said. It's basically just how to put it? Like it's basically just acid. It's just essentially it's like saying this is just space dust and that's it. But no, it is more than that because while we can see that it is indeed a type of acid that we see, nonetheless, it acts exactly like how we see code in computers. Okay, that's what
Sorry,
I mean.
I
I'm
lagged
looking.
out. My bad.
Oh, you're fine, Disco. I'm looking at this more than just a naturalistic perspective because naturally, I agree. This is just like material things that make us well human that make up our genetic our genetic material, and yet I will agree with you, John. It acts a lot like what we see in computer programming. So I think you're having an emotional reaction against me when I'm more in agreement with you than I am with Godless Engineer. So I'm not understanding that.
Well, I think you're like reframing now because the words that came out of your mouth are.
Well, maybe I didn't make myself clear the first time.
I've heard them
I
verbatim.
apologize.
I've heard them verbatim over and over again from atheists who are. It's not really a code, and they just want to be, and they want to play. Oh, it's just metaphor. I mean, it's sort of like a code, but it's not really a code.
Well, perhaps I didn't make myself clear. I would say that it acts enough like one that the connection is very much valid here to make that comparison. That I think that again we would not have this conversation if there wasn't enough if there weren't enough parallels to be able to make that connection, the conversation wouldn't even be happening.
Yeah, okay, well, whatever, man. I don't understand why people always like want to issue caveats of acting enough like the ultimate point I'm making, man, is for anybody who understands the basics of communication theory, code theory, and information theory, right? There is no kind of like, okay? Either something is or is not. And so the equivocation, the reason I'm being so blunt about this is because the Evo atheists on YouTube and everywhere, all over the place, right? And Facebook, everywhere, they all try to gray the lines, right? But the problem with that is there is no graying of the lines. There are very, very clear distinctions of what is and what is not, okay? And either something is digital or it's analog, right? Something is code or it is not code. There is either an alphabet, a source and target alphabet, or there is not. There has either been code mapping done or there has not. So something either is or is not. And that is called a what? A dichotomy, correct?
I think so. I think if I remember correctly, I think so. Yes.
Well, no, Fro. If something is or is not, that would be a dichotomy, right?
I don't know the terminology, but I'm going to go with you on this. Yes, I guess that's what you would call it.
Di means two. Fro, would you agree that you are bits and pieces of information of your parents, from your parents?
Yes, correct. I would agree with that.
And your bits and pieces of the same code that made them is the code that made you then?
Exactly. Yes, I agree with that.
Oh, so it's a code.
Definitely. It like, as I said, it isn't one-to-one, but it functions enough like one that you can make an argument that this is definitely intelligent design. Correct.
It's the
as I said, listen, I am agreeing with you guys on this. I'm on your side.
Unless there's a mistake, it's the exact same code from your parents and grandparents.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So it's digital code.
We're the ones and zeros.
Exactly.
As I said, it's not one-to-one, but it functions enough like one that you can make a connection, and even an argument for intelligent design.
Bro, stop embarrassing yourself, dude.
I didn't say ones and zeros. I said digital.
If I'm not mistaken, if I remember right, but after reading Stephen C. Meyer's book, DNA is coded in like ATCG, whatever, something like that. It's like logical, plausible, probable. If you could help me remember this, isn't DNA coded in? It's like ATCG. Oh gosh, what else? ATCGC.
Yes.
So
it's U. T changes the U, but it is a quaternary. Okay. Zeros and a code that has zeros and ones. The alphabet is zeros and ones. It's a binary code. Okay, you can have quaternary codes. You could have there's all sorts of different codes that have all sorts of different number. Like the English language has 27 or has 26 letters in the alphabet. Right.
All right.
So the symbols and the syntax of codes can be totally different. It doesn't have to be zeros and ones. Like this is Fro, this is why I'm telling you, man, you clearly don't know what the hell you're talking about. You just need to stop embarrassing yourself. What's up, Jackson? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. Just been watching the war going on. Been tracking on my Twitter.
Okay, Jackson. So did you watch the United Nations debacle this morning?
No, but I heard about it.
Okay, you should go watch it. It's rather interesting. So it is okay. So it goes like, who was it was like, anyway, after they turned it over to the Russian speaker, right? Mm-hmm. The outlined a pretty strong case and talked about the evidence they had, demanded answers, et cetera, right? And then all these responses were, oh, the Russians are making this up. The Russians are lying. None of these things exist. And it's like in Congress, what's her face, Newland or whatever her name is, literally admitted they exist. They admitted that they existed. And now in the UN, in these long-winded diatribes of just oh, they're lying and they're making it all up. It's just complete reversal and projection. It's so they're projecting what you guys admitted to be true. How is that projection if you admitted it's true? I mean, it was big. And then after, so first it was like,
sorry.
wait, hang on. So like the Russians win, and then like the Ukrainians responded, and the United States responded. There's like multiple different things, and then it just turns into this like, I mean, like Ghana and all these other countries are like issuing their opinions, and I'm like, nobody really gives a rat's ass about what you guys are saying. And all of they were just like little like ass kissings. Like, I just really appreciate my colleagues from, India, United States, and like all the long litany of all the people that talked before them. Right. And then I was like, and then, yeah, we will be watching this with great focus to make sure that the Russians are not able to continue to put forth these lies and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I finally gave, after I watched it for like an hour and I finally gave up. I was like, I can't, I'm done with this crap. This is a bunch of political BS going on here.
Yeah, the thing about it is how I put it, Russia invading Ukraine, I think, is going to be a watershed moment for like the decades onward, because what we see is that the European Union is really nothing without the United States. It has no teeth of its own. It doesn't have any moral authority, doesn't have any courage, and definitely doesn't have the integrity to back up its threats. And so when the United States is MIA in their conflicts, they fold over like a house of cards. And I think it's quite obvious here. And so when Putin is invading, right, he is the watershed moment as a way of determining that there's more than one way to see the West, where before kind of Western liberalism kind of had the rule of the day for the better part of 3 centuries now. But with Western power, and specifically Anglo-American power, collapsing across the world over, what we see is kind of like that violence that we've seen in the 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries kind of returning now. And when America completely goes, I think Europe is going to just be set on fire for quite a while.
Yeah, the West is done for, I think. But
definitely.
Let me give you some updates. Russia's gained some ground. They captured another major town today in pretty much almost the middle of Ukraine. Well, not the middle, but heading towards the middle, Dnipro or something, the main, which is the town in the middle. They're heading toward that to cut off half the country. And they're starting to surround Kiev. Tonight, they're shelling it. Their surroundings pretty heavily. And what else? Russia's gained ground, but they've lost about 200 tanks right now. And over 1,100 vehicles total to anti-tank missiles and RPGs and drone strikes. And about 20 aircraft have been shot down, including one yesterday. And up to 5,000 losses of Russian soldiers. So,
yeah, you should have heard about them. Like, have you heard about the Russians yet about firing at that like power plant or something? I can't remember the full story, but if I'm not mistaken, there were a few tanks firing at Europe's largest nuclear power plant.
Yeah, I watched it live.
And can you imagine what would have happened if they ended up like causing a meltdown or something?
Yeah, it wasn't tanks that were firing. It was like BTR-80s, which have like a 13.
I don't know the full story, so.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, make no mistake, the European Union is going to do nothing to touch Russia. Again, 60% of their oil and gas comes from them. You don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
So, I mean, the EU officially announced that they're not going to stop Russian oil and gas coming in.
Because they can't.
That was this morning, by the way. So they're like the official statement that we're not going to sanction oil and gas. It's like, so we're going to sanction all this other stuff, but we're not going to sanction the thing that we actually need. Like, well, there's a shocker. Oh, okay, so you guys are all talk, no action, like no, to your guys, other guys' point, like no real backbone. If you you don't actually believe the crap that's coming out of your mouth, whether you agree or disagree with Russia's position. It's like you're going to do nothing. And I've said this for years. People have heard me say this for years now. Like, all of the militaries of every country in the freaking European Union combined is a joke. Like, they can do nothing. Like, congratulations. You guys might be able to go beat, like, Libya or something. Like, whoop-de-doo-dah. you like the reason the reason that European countries haven't aren't at war right now is because neither one of them could fight the other. Like, oh, we're gonna slap you. I mean, they're Germans. We're gonna slap you with our wooden rifles we train with. I mean, it's no. In fairness, Germany's like started to like pick up their military a little bit.
Hey, speaking of wooden rifles, check this out. I got a screenshot of Russian soldier with Mosin Nagant rifle. Old World War I
well, that thing's almost as tall as he is. Holy!
Yeah, it's a long rifle. It's the PU variant, the sniper variant with the scope.
Yeah, no, actually,
the movie Enemy at the Gates. That's what he's using.
Yeah, sometimes the old ways are the best. I have a rifle at home. It's I think I have a rifle at home. It was actually used on the German side of World War II, and it's an actual
or a Mauser.
Oh, what's the rifle called?
Yeah. And so what's going on is it is an actual firearm that was used by the German side in World War II, and it's still a freaking great gun.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Like, how old is it?
Well, I said it's the same firearm, but it has a brand new stock on it, right? So the stock, the stock is modern, but the gun itself,
I know what you mean.
It was used in World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah, I planned to get one of those K98K rifles, but now I'm not allowed to get guns anymore, so that sucks.
Oh well.
Hey, so Jackson, question is: assuming your conviction comes through and all that, what are your charges expungible at some point?
No, they're not.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I know.
Don't mess with salamanders.
I heard something about being able to get your gun rights back at some point, but you probably have to go through court and all this complicated nonsense, so it's probably not even worth doing. So.
Yeah, sorry about that, buddy.
Yeah, it's all right.
Oh well. Oh wait, what the heck? You know what? Here's a good book y'all should read because I think you guys would like this book. I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist by Frank Turek. My gosh, it's such a good book. It's been a long time since I've read it, but I remember it being a very good book. You guys would like it.
I don't know if I'd like it, but maybe.
Yeah, no, I have heard it, but like I don't know. I've heard a lot of negative things about it as much as I have heard positive things. So I'm not sure if I want to take the investment.
Fair enough. I
mean, from what I've seen of Turek, I don't really like the guy just as a person. I mean, he just seems like a rude dude to me.
Hold on.
Yeah, no, he's also a lapsed Catholic, and that's awful too.
You think that Frank Turek is rude?
From the little I've seen of him, I haven't seen much of him. Granted.
And what have you watched of him? I would never equate him with being rude.
Well, maybe he's not. The little clips I've seen of him seem like he's kind of arrogant. Maybe is a better word.
What clips have you seen? Is it like?
I really don't know. It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm very fascinated as to how you came to. I would not equate Turek with arrogant or rude.
All right, maybe he's not. I'll take it back.
Maybe confidence. He's confident.
I just noticed something. It's like, okay, so do you guys know what materialism is? Like, do you know what naturalism and materialism is? Okay, so I just noticed something. So, if materialism is true, then doesn't that make reason impossible? Because if mental listen, if mental processes are nothing but chemical reactions in the brain, then there's no reason to believe that anything is true, because chemicals and atoms can't evaluate whether or not a theory is true or not, because chemicals and atoms can't reason. Chemicals and atoms can only react.
I am so glad you brought
chemicals. Yeah, so as chemicals, we can't reason. We can only react. So there's no reason to believe that atheism is true by that logic.
I am so glad you brought that up, Disco, because I wanted to bring that up actually when we were talking about like the parallels between code and DNA, because a philosopher named Alvin Plantinga actually made an argument.
That guy.
Called the evolutionary argument against naturalism, and it basically goes like this: You can believe in evolution, or you can believe in naturalism, but you can't believe in both. And the reason being is because, like, and again, I think young Earth creationists would benefit by taking evolution seriously, because if they were to do that, and understand naturalism, you have a good argument for theism, no matter what side of the creation debate you're on, because what's going on is what evolution cares about is that the organism survives. Think about it like this. Think of like a dog, right? It's just a little yelp, or like a chihuahua, right?
All right,
And
all
it
right.
yeah, and it hears this lion roar. Now a lion is a predator, right? Now let's just say, for instance, in one scenario, when the puppy hears the lion roar, it thinks it's the King of England, and in another scenario, it will think, oh, there's a predator there, I better run away. Fact of the matter is, evolution doesn't care what the puppy thinks. Evolution cares that this dog runs away and preserves its life, which means things like, how would I put it, with advanced thought, inventions like, say, religion, philosophy, science, things like that. These are things that desperately need our faculties to be true. That when we think of things, when we think of like a scientific methods of advanced thoughts and religions, we need these things to be true as a way of understanding them, as a way of the modern world coming together. But evolution doesn't care about that. It just cares that you survive. It cares that you survive to see another day. And so the contradiction is that naturalism assumes that we're nothing but animals. We're just intelligent animals. But if that's the case, then there's no reason we should be able to trust our logic, our functions, our cognitive abilities. And yet those are the exact same things we use to come to the conclusion that evolution is a thing, that there's this thing called civilization, and that so much of our very being is based on the assumptions that we can rely on our cognitive ability. But if naturalism and evolution are both true, there's no reason we should. And so the solution to this is theism, that you can believe in evolution and theism, but you cannot believe in evolution and naturalism at the same time, because there is a an inherent contradiction between these two camps, between these two categories.
Yeah, because like if everything, like, assume it, like, I'm gonna quote C.S. Lewis for a second, but assuming that there's no intelligent mind behind the universe, that means nobody has designed any of our brains for the purpose of thinking. Everything we think is just a result of atoms moving against other
Exactly.
atoms, chemical reactions. Then how could I trust my own thinking to be true? Because it's
Exactly. You
just
got it.
it's just reaction. Our thoughts are just reaction. We're not reasoning. Like, how do you know, like, I can't determine whether or not something is true because chemicals and atoms cannot reason. Chemicals and atoms can only collide and react with one another. So
Right.
every time an atheist attempts to point out a contradiction in my logic, or, let's just say an alleged contradiction in the Bible, there's no reason to believe him because chemicals and atoms can't reason. All he's
Yes,
doing is just
exactly.
reacting, so there's no reason to believe him, and there's no reason to think that anything he's saying is true. So
And
that's
and
my
that's
point.
and that's the thing. You completely laid out, Disco, why I'm not too concerned with whether or not creation or evolution is correct. Because if you're a creationist, Christ is still on the throne. If you're evolutionist, Christ is still on the throne, and you can see that, and you can demonstrate that just by putting evolution and naturalism kind of together, because you will see that these two worldviews clash, and they aren't like they will inherently conflict and contradict with each other, which means whether or not you are a young Earth creationist or an evolutionist, you can't be a naturalist. You're going to have to form some kind of supernatural ethic here at some point, because what we see, there's no other explanation as to why we're so advanced above all the other like beasts of the earth.
Exactly. It's just like, I just think, there's a, because I mean the thing is that if like I said, if all we are just atoms and chemicals, then reason is impossible. We can't determine truth. Like, all we are just reactions. We're just reacting to our chemicals. Like, how like 2 + 2 = 4. Is that true? Or is that just my chemicals reacting? Am I just reacting to the chemicals in my brain? Are
Exactly.
atoms just smashing against my brain? Is that true? So
Hey,
it's
so
like that's my point.
real quick, guys. Real quick, guys. So,
Yeah.
two things. Number one, Jackson has a question, but before he asks his question, I think that I may have made a very significant discovery while you guys have been talking. So, there's been, I don't know if you guys all knew this, but there's been a long question as to who Jackson Rowe's father is. And I think that we may have discovered who it was, because if you guys will look
Oh
at him,
darn.
look very closely. Okay, so here's Jackson. Okay,
My eyes are virtually pressed
and-
against the screen.
and here I think is his father.
It's Italian.
I mean, if you notice if you look with the bandanas on, I mean, like it's
Yes.
very, very obvious that
Yeah, there's a
Rambo
family
is Jackson's
resemblance right
father.
there. You're royalty,
No,
Jackson.
no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
About
Dang.
the
But
Australian actor.
all right, jokes
Yeah, I don't know
aside,
if I look
Jackson,
that much like him, but the headband definitely rings the bell. But yeah, I wanted to say a couple other things about the war that I didn't get to say. 16,000 Syrian troops are now going to go to Ukraine, apparently.
Yeah, I heard about that. I
boy.
heard that was being stated, but I didn't know if
I
that
thought
was
it was
actually true or
total.
not.
I thought it was total BS when it first came out, but now it's real.
They are Russia's ally, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm a big Syria fan, so I'm gonna have to follow that pretty close.
About Greeny said the best comment there. First blood row. I love it.
I didn't hear that. What?
Greeny, the movie you're going to star in, Jackson, is First Blood Row.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what the Y chromosome is of the Syrians? Is it an F majority, or is there a large population of F in
I
the
have no
Syrians?
idea.
I'm just waiting for Jackson to jump out with a machete or something like that. He just walks off camera, says, "Oh yeah, I need to go to the bathroom." Then he just jumps in with a machete. That would be perfect. telling you, man. New Rambo right here, boys.
Yeah. All my,
Actually, he'll be the
all my dangerous
gin-
items are at my parents' house because I'm on probation. I don't want to do that.
the
Yeah,
straw.
I got you.
Jackson, are you a strawberry blonde or just like
Kind of.
you have some
Yeah.
ginger? You have some ginger?
Where there's a lot of
I don't like to say ginger. Strawberry blonde.
there's
Okay.
a lot of J in the area too.
My beard gets when my beard gets long, I get quite a bit of ginger in my beard.
Yeah, the beard is definitely a little bit ginger, but the hair is strawberry blondish.
Yeah, they said that everybody that has reddish hair is related to some ancestor that had reddish hair. So might be well, there's a lot of people. There's different people that could have red hair. One of them could be
Lena
King
says
David.
Syria is J.
What's J?
It's the majority. The majority is J. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
This girl won't leave me alone.
Oh, chromosomes. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
This girl won't leave you. Okay, hang on, Jackson. So this girl won't leave you alone, but you're talking with a bunch of dudes on Friday night. So what's the?
Well, she won't come over, but she won't shut up about nonsense.
Ah.
So I don't care.
So
well, here's a tip for you: just sit down and listen, man. Just pretend you're paying attention. Just sit down and listen to it, and then just when they stop talking.
How depressed she is. I'm like, I don't know how to respond to that. I'm like, sorry.
Whoa, hang on, Jackson. Did you just say that she was telling you how depressed she is?
Yeah, I've been trying to comfort her for like days, and I don't know what else to tell her.
Oh, dang.
Okay, so
she told me
does she live in the general proximity to you?
She was like 30 minutes away.
Okay, so
she's not like gonna kill herself, but she's just feeling sad.
That's not what I was asking that question for. So, okay, you're trying to get her to come over to you. Have you considered going to her?
I really don't like driving.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Hold on. Wait, everybody, silence. So let me hang on, everybody be quiet. So Jackson, let me get this straight. You're bitching right now that she won't come over. while simultaneously admitting that you won't go to her because you don't like to drive.
Mhm.
So,
All right, I see how
okay.
absurd that is.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen of the
It's the
audience,
price of
okay,
gas.
In bubblegum, I've
Jackson-
been laid
Jackson.
before. Shut up.
Jackson, you have just admitted that you're your own cock block.
Yeah, pretty much. In this case.
Dang, dude.
So you
what?
have no
it's good.
you have no excuse in complaining about this woman right now. I mean, here's the other thing.
Yeah, we have to drive on the interstate, and that's just
Dude,
I don't like
have
doing
you?
that.
Okay, genius. Have you considered Uber?
Oh shit, that is a good idea.
Uber yourself,
This
or
is some
Uber her.
400 IQ thinking right now.
bro. Okay,
That is
okay. Let me Jackson. Let me
3D,
regulate.
some 4D
Listen,
shit.
listen. I have retired from my days of all this stuff. Okay. However, this is very simple, bro. In the modern era in which you live, you offer to have you say something to the effect of, listen, if I know it's late, if you don't want to drive, it's no big deal. Had some drink, whatever. Let me get you an Uber. And then what's your address? And then you freaking schedule the Uber to go pick her up and bring her to you, or vice versa. Like, this is not that big a deal. Do it.
Is she
Get
on
your
the
phone
other
right.
side? No, she's
Dude,
not.
Get your phone. Grab your phone and send the message to her. Make her the offer right now, and see what the
Do
response
it, man.
Do
Let's
it.
see.
Make the offer.
Show it on
Okay,
stream.
can I
Let's
come to you?
come on. Show it on stream. Let's do it. I just can't wait to see like a middle finger emoji or something like that. I'm just waiting to
Excellent.
see that.
Can I come there? There we go.
There's gonna be like 3
I
minutes
guarantee
of
she's gonna
silence.
say yes. She's gonna
No,
say yes.
I don't know. I got
Jackson, listen, Jackson,
Jackson.
if she says
I
yes,
mean,
you leave and go there
Jackson,
immediately.
listen, you need to take a selfie of the bandana, and be like, listen, Rambo Rowe is coming over right now. Okay.
Yes. Dude, yeah, it's just like you got to take your shirt off as well. Like take your shirt off. You got to have a knife pointing downward on your left or right hand or whatever your main hand is, and then you just got to take a selfie. And perfect, man. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be perfect.
No, Kelby, I'm not encouraging the atheist, to go fornicate. I am telling Jackson to go and like have a connection with somebody, and don't whine and complain about it. If you're not going to, if you're not going to go for the clothes, if you're not going to ask and make the offer, then you give up all right to bitch.
Yeah, okay. I want to point this out to you as a way of kind of solidifying John's point. My girl lives an hour and away from me. Okay, if she was inviting me over, I will drop everything and just go walk there if I have to. Okay, why? Because that's what you do for a relationship.
My man.
Like if I have to hike through like 2 foot snow, guess what? I'm doing it, and I'll be there in about 6 hours. It's happening.
Yes.
All right. Okay, Jackson. So let me put this in context for you, buddy. Okay. So the woman I am currently dating is like so far out of my league. I have absolutely zero idea how I met, like why she likes me, how I managed to get her attention. I mean, seriously, I have no idea. But it's happening, and she likes me, and it's like, okay, cool. Anyway,
I had one girl like that. It was like supermodel, gorgeous.
So anyway, the point I'm making is this morning, for example, and this isn't like from a like, oh, I'm gonna go, I'm trying to like, beg and plead, and like, no, none of that. It's because I actually really, really like this girl and want to have her feel liked and all that kind of stuff, right? So she happens to really, really like cappuccinos, right? So this morning, as a way to both indicate that, hey, I really like you, and want to just do nice things for you and such, as well as a excuse to be able to get to see her, right? I volunteered to bring her a cup of coffee on my way out to where I was going, right? And it was on my way anyway, so she didn't really have an excuse. It wasn't like, oh, you're going like super far out of your way, inconvenient to do this, but like, okay, well, it's a little sidestep, right? So what I do, I went and I scooped up a freaking cappuccino and brought it to her. And Is it some like crazy thing to do? Nope. But do I think she liked it? Yep. Does it give me a little bit extra good points? I think so. And got to sit there and have a conversation. We're gonna hang out for an hour before I went off to do what I was doing, right? And she had to go do what she was doing. So it was a good excuse to see her and all the fun stuff. And it wasn't like I'm trying to like buy time or anything like that. It's just like, hey, let's do nice things for people that we care about,
Oh, and on that note, Jackson, I just want to point out, the chicks dig guys that can cook. I mean that. You would be surprised, just like you would be in my own experience. You would be surprised just how sexy. You would be surprised how sexy you look when you say that. Yeah, I can cook things.
Is that so?
Yeah, no, like for the first date I had with my girl, I actually came up to her house. She was comfortable enough with me just inviting me to her house, and we went into her kitchen and just cooked our first dinner together.
Nice. Well, that's good. I mean, it's bonding, so yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cooking is definitely can be a good.
It is a huge turn on.
It's ironic that they say, way to a man's heart is through his stomach or whatever. And while that can be true, the guy, because the vast majority of men are just incompetent at cooking, it is a major like, oh, okay, so he can cook, and it's the same thing with like, oh, he can change a freaking light bulb in the area in which we live, like, oh, he knows to change a tire. It's becoming a rarity. I mean, it's crazy. This is like very, very basic stuff is somehow now, an outlier.
Well, yeah, Western liberalism has completely like emasculated men, of course. What do you expect?
I used to have a pet crocodile. Is that something to brag about? And I
got at this point, Jackson,
you still have that pet crocodile. If you still have that pet crocodile, you got bragging rights. If you got rid of it, don't even bring it up.
Well, it was confiscated. Is that cool?
Well, just say that you're a nature lover. That's good.
Well, I mean, Jackson, you have to remember you do have criminal status now. So you got the potential bad boy. You can be like, you got the bandana on right now. You had your crocodile was confiscated by the feds. Yeah. I mean, at this point, dude, come on now.
I love how this conversation is like. I love how this conversation started with us talking about like Ukraine and whatnot. Now we're just talking about crocodiles and keeping those pets and whatnot.
Hey, listen, we're making Jackson a very happily married man here. Come on, Disco.
No, absolutely, yeah. I mean, come on, man. You got to make your move. Come on.
Okay, so Cheryl, I was asking you what Twitter pated means. I don't know what that word means.
It's like you're constipated, but for Twitter.
No, see, Cheryl says LPP is
Twitter pated is just you have butterflies. You have butterflies. It's like Twitter pated. That's what that means. It's an old word.
Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Speaking of Twitter, I have 5,000 followers now.
Oh, nice. Kudos.
On my war thing. And like 1.3 million views this month.
Nice. Okay, Jackson, so has she responded yet?
No.
And what did you say? All you said was, can I come over?
Pretty much, yeah. What?
Dude, you have to put heart behind it. You have to make yourself sound interested. You don't just want to go, can I come over?
Okay,
it's
so
like
is
you want to give it heart.
Okay.
What is the origin of this one? Is she a Tinder or Bumble connection?
It's a Tinder.
Okay. So
who cares, really?
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're toast.
Hey.
So who cares? Okay, so you're operating from the perspective that you okay, this is a good one. Forfield says, ask if she wants to see your slides. Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want the slides.
Okay, so if you're talking to her from Tinder, and all you say is, "Can I come over?" You
I don't just. Well, I've been talking to her for a while. I mean, that's
right. But okay, did you actually say verbatim, "Can I come over"?
Yeah, I'll show you the message.
I believe you. But while that's very direct, that's more of a very direct, hey, only reason I want to see you while you're in a depressed state is to bang. That's basically what you told him.
Let's not lie to her now.
I get that. However, I mean, okay, never mind. I'm not even going to attempt this. I'm okay. All right.
What you gotta do? You gotta kind of take the initiative here. You have to kind of say like, you can't say, "Can I come over?" You have to say, "I'm coming over," but more or less illustrate that in a more caring way, that you're after something more than just sex. Okay.
Okay, how about
Thanks, Jerome, and hope you have a great day, man. He says, I gotta go. God bless the OPP chat, and he says, good luck, Action Jackson.
Action Jackson. I love it. I love it.
Perfect.
Okay, so it's what you do. You just text her. All right, I decided I'm coming over. We're gonna talk. That's what you say, something like that. Because
we need to talk.
Yeah, because if you're saying that she's depressed, right, then you're coming over to talk about it as a way of hearing her out. Because again, relationships live and die on communication.
Okay, Jackson, don't say anything yet. Okay, don't say anything yet. You should say something. Oh. Okay, do you need to say? What did you just send? What did you send?
I said we can talk.
Okay. Do not say anything else without. Okay, dude, you need to say something like, "I know my last message might have been very direct. I want to see you, and I think I want to see you and talk to you."
Let me give you the context of this. We've been talking back and forth and like sending pictures back and forth, so it's not like it's out of the blue. Just like, can I come over?
Oh, you see, I was right. There's some personal. They're more intimate than we thought. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not just like it's not as bad as it sounds.
Okay.
I have
the thing about it is I'm a very direct person, so I send texts like that all the time, right? So like that might just be.
Hang on,
works for me, I guess.
Bro, hang on. Did you just say that you send pictures of your Johnson on a regular basis?
Oh yeah.
Do you want one, John?
No, I'm good, but is that what you just stated?
I assure because how to put my cock looks really good right now because he's just out there pecking like right now he's in the coop, right? But I can get him out and take a picture of him for you if you want.
I don't even know. I'm assuming you're talking about your like chickens and your rooster, but let's.
Yeah, I'm on a farm. I literally have chicken and roosters running around.
What is this conversation turned into?
I don't know.
What is this? What is this devolving to? I'm really curious. It's just now I don't even know what's going on anymore at this point, man.
We're literally just here shooting the shit. That's it.
Yeah, I used to be on a thing called Kick, and I would get it from Instagram, and I would just message people like literally over 1,000 girls. Just pictures.
Bruh,
it's not on orange. It was like the topic. That's what you're supposed to do.
And Jackson, Utopia Buster has great advice. When you're going to speak in complete sentences or don't speak, that means no emojis, okay? That makes you look very mature.
I didn't do emojis there.
You've been doing emojis?
No, I didn't do emojis.
Thank God. Okay, don't start.
Like we can talk, laughy face.
Don't do the thing where you just like put needless emojis or just random emojis, because then you'll just look weird. Because you don't want to accidentally put like gunshot, kidnap, or whatever, or something like that.
Well, here's the thing though. If you have a dry sense of humor or are making jokes, emojis in the modern era are actually very, very important. Otherwise, you can end up actually making them think something completely opposite, right? And then you have to go into like clarification mode. And it, in my opinion, depending on if you're making jokes and stuff, having an emoji for clarification can be very, very important, because very often if there's a misinterpretation, women won't tell you that they misinterpreted what you said, or they're questioning what you said as being, they might take it as an insult or as something really strange when you're actually making a complete joke and not being serious at all. So I would say if you're implementing humor, an emoji can definitely be can be important.
Just depends of how. It just depends on your use of the emoji. You don't want to just you don't want to shove emojis down people's throats. You kind of just want to use
I'm
it
not.
when
I'm
the
not
time is
suggesting you should
right.
do it like my daughter's 11. Okay, she
Well,
sends me an entire freaking text message, and it's nothing but emojis, and she wants me to like decipher what she meant from like 14 freaking emojis. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm
it's the
talking
new
about
code.
yeah. I'm saying you like have a sentence, and you, if you're joking, you might put some kind of a smiley face up there, or it's like, I'm thinking about what you're saying here. You like put the freaking emoji with it has the question look on its face, like that kind of stuff. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about doing like a freaking whole sentence in emojis.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, it's like emojis are this whole new form of code, or just whatever. Like they're this whole new like system of coding, and it's just ugh. I get like
I think bubblegum.
yeah.
I think bubblegum needs to get in here because I have a very high. There's a very high likelihood that bubblegum can like interpret emoji code. So bubblegum,
Okay,
I
you know
just
what?
need to
Get him in
and
here.
help to educate us.
Get him in here. Get him in here, and I need him to help translate emojis because there are times where I look at the text my parents have sent me, and there are so many emojis in it, I cannot even
Hang on,
decipher.
your parents are
what-
using emojis?
Everybody in my family is except me. Like literally everybody except me. I'm the one guy that doesn't.
Well,
Keep
Everybody
it
is
that way,
sending.
Disco. Disco, keep
Yes,
it that way.
yes, I will.
Thank
Everybody
you.
is sending it to me. Even my grandfather, and he's 75. And it's like I don't understand it. It's
Okay, hang on. So, Hefe says, I thought this was a Christian channel. Guess it's just Pharisees. I mean, Hefe, I'm going to need you to come into the stream and clarify
What
that
do you mean?
statement.
Sorry,
Oh,
I think he's just. I think he's very disappointed because we're not Puritans talking about how much virgins we are. I guess that's what his problem. I guess he doesn't like the fact. I guess he doesn't like the idea that we're talking about like virginity ad nauseum, and that's the problem. I don't know. I mean, let's be like, we're not Puritans here, Hefe. Get used to it and cope.
I'm an atheist, so it doesn't even matter for me.
well, I mean, for me, I am actually being quite. I am personally being above board, so I don't know if anybody can judge me on that one.
Yeah,
but
sorry, John. But the thing about it is, right? Like, I'm talking about my girl here. Yeah, I've been at her house, but guess what? We both conform to Catholic moral teachings, so that's a zero tolerance on fornication. So Hefe is basically just assuming things about the chat about the studio here that just aren't true. And look, yeah, Hefe just replied again. You ain't Christians that follow the Bible. So let me get this straight. Because I am present in another woman's house, just having a very romantic dinner with her and nothing sexual, suddenly that's just a complete abomination all of a sudden. Like Hefe and Puritans aren't allowed here. Get out.
Interesting. Very interesting. Oh gosh, here come the emojis. You know what? I'm just expecting at this point. Look in the live YouTube chat right now, and I'm just seeing people like just putting all these emojis in chat. I don't even get it anymore. It's like some of these emojis look like the person who was making the emoji had like a spasm making the emoji. I'm seeing faces that don't even look like faces. I can't even describe some of this stuff. It's like, ugh. Some of the stuff I'm seeing in the chat's pretty weird. Like, I don't even understand. It's like emoji code or something.
Is it upsetting? Is it upsetting you?
No, it's giving me PTSD to all the emojis my family sends me.
You're gonna
Because
really
here's
like
the
that
thing.
then. You're
Yeah,
gonna like
because
that
here's
then.
the thing. Everybody in my family does. And, like, even my 75-year-old grandfather. And the dude's only had a phone for, like, 2 years. Yes, I am on acid. I know. I'm on the best type of acid, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Brandon
Well,
should have put
well,
out
well,
emojis.
to be honest, Jackson's relationship is kind of meh, and yeah, he's kind of right.
Well, we should be on track in our discussion, but sometimes they just get off track and wander a little bit. And we're trying to be friends to Jackson as well. You know, we're trying to be
All
Absolutely.
right, all
friends.
right.
Friendly. We're not the best of friends, obviously, because we disagree. But you know, as much as it's possible, he's over here
Okay,
on our
listen.
channel. You know.
So I think that Inferno, or sorry, Inferno Disco, Info Disco. Sorry.
Info Disco, yes.
I think that Info Disco has potentially been lying about his aversion to emojis, given the fact that right there in full display for everyone, he just used an emoji. Therefore, his call for no using of emojis is obviously a false pretense.
I just got caught in 4K. I
Yeah,
don't know what I'll do.
so
I have
basic-
no more job
Yeah, definitely.
opportunities.
Yes.
Dude,
So
like I'm
basically,
just
so basically, Disco, you're no longer a Christian. We just want you to know that.
dang, man. I had a good run, man. Oh, snap.
Yeah, you have officially been excommunicated. Get out of here.
Man, I just got destroyed. How will I ever recover?
Hey, so what happened with the debate? I didn't see any
From
video.
what I heard, the James W's internet was like horrific, so
Yeah.
they've rescheduled.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Richard Neal, this is the best. Did I just walk in a 13-year-old sleepover?
Dang.
That's kind of an accurate description of what's going on here. Okay. I can't deny.
He's not wrong.
I mean, what can I say? We're attempting
We're all
to
children
help.
here. Get used to it.
No. What happened was Jackson made a horrible move, and we're trying to help him recover. That's all it was.
I really don't care. I don't really care for this girl, honestly.
Okay, well, never mind. We retract it. Don't do anything we've said. Listen to nothing that we have suggested, and continue to do you. and then next week, I'll look forward to hearing you bitch and moan some more about how this girl hasn't come over yet when you have still refused to drive over to her. So, yeah.
Oh man.
So you know what? We need to have a new George Carlin. So Carlin is very famous for his little skit where he says, those who don't vote give up the right to bitch, right? And I think in the same context, those who won't drive over to a chick's house give up their right to complain about not getting laid. And that's just the way it is.
Fair enough.
Okay, I guarantee. You see, okay. Listen. If that's fair enough, then next week you come over here. Don't bitch, okay?
All right.
Now let's talk about salamanders. Let's talk about giant salamanders now.
Who's giant salamanders?
Giant salamanders.
Oh, giants. I don't know who that is.
Okay, so Fro, you may not know
Chinese salamanders.
Oh, Chinese salamander. Okay.
Fro, do you not know the backstory of what we're talking about with Jackson?
Yeah, I think the state he lives in just kind of went all draconian and banhammer on owning your own lizards and reptiles.
No. Jackson is an international salamander and lizard importer. Black market lizard and salamander importer.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's a felony, okay? And he is currently a wanted man. Well, he's actually not a wanted man anymore. He's been found. He finally caved to the feds, gave up a whole bunch of his importer buddies from China, and now he's being able to operate on probation currently. But what's going on is, and by the way, Jackson, is the reason you're not driving? Are you just claiming you don't want to drive, or do they have you on house arrest? Are you
No, I'm not on house arrest. I say driving.
Okay. Well, hang on. So you were a salamander. Well, hang on. So you were a salamander importer.
Here's the other ankle. No ankle bracelet.
So you were transporting illegal substances or organisms, but you don't like to drive. So
Well, no, I was She
were
had
you
them
like
shipped in.
right? So were you like having an Uber sent for your lizards, but you won't send an Uber for the girl?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's think about this. You are coordinating the transport from other countries, other parts of the world. You can get a salamander to you, but you haven't thought about, let's figure out the logistics of getting women from A to B. And if this has not crossed your mind.
Tried a few things, but
All right, what'd you try?
I tried having her drive here.
and
How
saying,
did that go?
She didn't, I guess. She said she would, but she's not. So,
Have you tried anything else?
not really.
You're making this way more complicated.
okay,
than it has
okay,
to
so
be.
I'm
here's-
making it way more complicated than it is.
okay, so Jackson, I think I've heard very similar complaints about other women.
No, it's the same one, I think.
Well, this isn't the coworker though.
No, there was never a coworker. I just said I would. Something about a coworker. I don't remember.
I thought you had a date with a coworker like a couple weeks ago.
No,
Okay.
I said I made some joke about coworkers, but I never.
No, okay.
never
Well, okay.
coworker.
Was there another girl other than this one a couple weeks ago?
Maybe
Okay. How long have you been talking to this one?
a couple of weeks, I guess.
Have you met her in person yet?
No,
Oh my god! What? Okay. Have
Change
you offered?
that, Jackson. What the hell?
Have you like attempted to meet in person outside of late night?
no.
Jackson, are you a human or just like some alien from the mothership? Come on.
I'm
It's a basic human interaction, my dude.
You're just talking like you're some entity, man. You gotta interact with her. You gotta talk to her. You gotta form some kind of a bond, common interest, or something like that.
Wallflowers are not sexually appealing.
It's not what I heard.
Well, it just depends on the delivery. If you just leave flowers at her doorstep, that's one thing. It's like, you don't want to.
Hold on, Jackson. Are you planning on meeting this girl?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, well, listen. When on your way up, stop by a florist or some supermarket where they're going to sell like bouquets of flowers. Grab a small to medium sized one. Bring it up to her. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like it would be creepy.
No, it will not be creepy. Trust me. As I said, that is a major turn on too. Because like I've dated like 3 or 4 women already. Trust me, that is a turn on. Okay, and don't be creepy. Just present it as a gift. It shows you're interested and you care.
Yeah.
And
Maybe.
plus, by keeping it in their house, they have to water it. By watering it, they're in a sense watering you because they're remembering you that entire week that they're keeping the plant alive. Okay. There's some strategy behind this, my dude.
I'm telling you, man.
Flowers
Date, like,
are
date-
no, listen, no. Flowers are for the enlightened or for the enlightened civilized man, okay? Because you are appealing to the feminine side of women. And you're showing that you can condescend to that.
What would be better than flowers or chocolate? Something less.
a
Get her
gun.
done.
That
Disco and I had the same thought.
was perfect. Let's go, my man.
Yeah, 357 Magnum, at least 1,800 feet a second.
Yes.
My body's a
Perfect.
temple. You cannot rape me. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh man.
Okay, so this clown show is suggesting that giving a woman flowers is simping.
Yeah, okay, listen, this guy's a gym bro, and his mind isn't worth taking seriously, John. Come on now. You know this.
Come on,
Okay,
man.
Okay,
should know
so Brandon says y'all are forgetting Jackson is an atheist. His worldview has no actual feelings of love or care.
Well,
All
that's
use
not That's not related
All
to
the
the
useless
atheism
advice
part.
for someone was
Need
okay.
it first.
So in fairness, so in fairness, Jackson.
That's not me being an atheist. That's just me.
Oh, that's so good. I love it.
Oh man.
Can I donate that man some money?
Yeah. Man. What the heck? Bro, Keith just said in the chat, tell her you have pics of your salamander. What? Excuse me, what? Bro.
Tell Pilos to come in here and talk to us because maybe he can speak in English or Portuguese. I'll speak to him in Portuguese if he doesn't, if he wants.
Yeah, she can come in here and you can speak to her in Portuguese. That'll be great.
No, the red pill. The red pill.
Hang on. Kelvy says John says even wishing atheists a good day is participating in their sin. What? I do not.
What?
That is.
I think that's a joke. I'm pretty sure that's a joke. I think he
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because he put an emoji off that.
No. He's saying about I don't know. I'm not even gonna go down there. Okay, let's see. Bible red pills. This is obviously the same guy, but a different account. Flowers would be a good idea if you have long term.
I've actually
you just show up with flowers. It'll be pretty weird.
No, actually, no. I found it the opposite way because, like, when you show up with flowers, it's telling her that you actually are interested in long term. You're not actually just there for you're not just there to bang and leave. And again, like there is strategy to this because they have a plan to take care of. You're going to be on their mind. There's a little bit of psychology to that.
Okay, so pure. Oh, John. He says, okay, John the Apostle. Okay, that's fair. Okay, so Pure Aussie Gold says not on the first date for flowers, but I would agree with you. I'm not saying on the first date you're like showing up with a freaking like a dozen red roses or some crap like that. That would be a little bit weird.
Yeah, definitely.
That isn't, and you're not bringing a freaking potted plant. That would be really weird.
Bring her like an apple tree.
Yeah,
like
Listen,
you want to have like, yeah.
All you'll need, listen, ladies and gentlemen, all you need is just a small bouquet, something that kind of just barely fits in your two hands, not something that's like overwhelming, not like just like 12 like roses, just something that's really nice, like a nice and some nice house plants you might keep on a coffee table. That's all you really need.
Yeah.
No. First date, you are not bringing a freaking plant for the coffee table.
Not a potted plant, flowers.
No.
They're two different things.
No, okay. In that context, no. First date, you might bring like a rose or two. I say one. It's more of it's the symbolic gesture of like, hey, you've got a little bit of a romantic side and all that fun stuff, but you're not a freaking weirdo who brought them a dozen roses and like, I don't even know you yet, but I'm proclaiming my undying love for you. She's immediately going to freak out and be like, who is this creeper? What? I mean, is he going to start stalking me? Right. One rose is a totally different context. And she's going to be talking to her girlfriends and being like, oh, can you believe it? He even brought me a rose. I mean, that kind of stuff, right? It's a totally different context. And assuming you don't completely jack up the date. Now, it doesn't matter whether or not, if you completely bomb the date, it doesn't matter whether or not you brought a rose. If the rose is going to be, if the date had gone well, the rose would be the most awesome thing ever, right? If the date sucks, then it's going to be, oh, he's a total freak and he like brought me flowers to the first date. Like it doesn't matter if it was good or if it was bad date, whatever you did, even if it was in, good faith, is going to be completely considered horrible anyway. So like
believe it or not, I'm actually pretty good on dates.
Oh, I believe it. The thing about it is I'm like, I don't know, like I've actually, like, how would I put it? I've never had that problem giving a girl a bouquet of flowers. Never had that problem. So maybe that's just your experience, John, but like, or maybe it's just my personality. I have a very ride or die mentality where if I'm going to do something, I just do it all out. Right. And, so like, and again, I guess like a bouquet can work if you have the personality, and maybe I have that. But with the experience that you're telling me, John, that's not mine. I've never had that reaction from a woman.
I have also never had that reaction from a woman, but that's not my point. the point is that what I just stated is 100% true in relation to whether or not you brought the flower or didn't bring the flower. I guarantee you, Fro, if a woman you had brought a bouquet of flowers to, if the date did not go well, I guarantee you she would be like, whatever it was that you brought, the effort you made would be undergo a 180-degree change in perspective. I have observed this on many, many occasions.
Okay, then I would agree with you on that.
I've heard female friends, like, I've sat there and listened to them go on diatribes about this sort of thing, and it's like, and going on in the back of my mind, I remember this in college all the time. Like, you're saying, like, so last week on date with so and so, I thought the guy was a jackass, but you thought that all the stuff he did was the greatest thing all the time, and it's like, he was a freaking moron. Like, I was there, I observed this stuff, like on the double date, where like, I think he's a freaking jackass, and why the heck would you want to see this dude again? Oh no, he's so amazing. It's like, he's an idiot. But no, they thought anyway. I'm just telling you that this is a known fact to be true. Anyway,
in that case, then I would have to agree.
Yeah, I think girls love stupid men. Just act as dumb as a box of rocks, and they'll love you.
You know what? I actually agree with you on that.
So Jackson, are you trying to say that you present yourself as a project?
No, I just don't, talk about quantum physics on the date.
Okay, so are you... Here's the real question, though. Are you searching for a sapiosexual?
Say again?
Okay, I said, do you want to find a woman that is a sapiosexual?
I don't know what that means.
She is attracted to intelligence.
Oh. I don't care.
Okay. Okay. So let me get. So are you trying to say that you have very, very broad interest? Like, you don't care if she's smart, dumb. Wants you to be dumb or
if
smart.
I'm going to get married to her, I'd want her to be smart. But
so Jackson, are you suggesting that you are only looking for a woman who will have sex with you?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so are you wanting to engage in this only once or more than once?
It's usually only once that it happens.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes twice, 3 times. I don't know.
Okay, so you do know that gets way better with more times, right?
Haven't had enough multiple times with the same person to know that.
Okay. Oh man. Okay, I'm just gonna stop now.
Yo, Logical, I have a question for you. So, you've debated Godless Engineer before, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Oh yeah.
So, just out of curiosity, what's the stupidest objection you've heard from Godless? Like, just out of curiosity. Like what is the objection that made you just stop taking him seriously?
Oh, I stopped taking him seriously from the attack videos he did on me.
Wait, he
back
did?
in 2020. Oh yeah. Okay, so I talk about this all the time. There's 2 specific atheists that the rest of YouTube can blame for my existence on YouTube. It's Matt Dillahunty and Godless Engineer. So rewind to, I believe, March 4th, 2020. And I wake up to all these notifications on my phone and all these comments and such. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And it turned out, back when I had a grand total of 12 subs and my channel was like literally a month and a couple days old, that Godless Engineer had done a exposition on one of 3 videos I had, and just was completely eviscerating me, right? And I was just so horrible and just explained to the world why I didn't know what I was talking about, right? And I proceeded to, let's see if I can find this real quick. I responded with a little short video and offered for him to retract his stupidity. and if he did not, then I would have to eviscerate him. Well, he didn't. He doubled down, and then anyway, fast forward to my birthday of that year, and he and I had a debate. That's when our debate happened, and it was good times. But anyway, in my that little video I played at the very beginning of this one, this
Can you put
is
a link in the private chat?
this is the video that this is from his attack video against me.
But it is not a code. It's a chemical. It's deoxyribonucleic acid. It's an acid. I don't understand why you think it's a code. DNA is no more of a code than Diet Coke and regular Coke.
Okay.
So that was his that was for I literally edited that from his video, right? Okay. So
Yeah.
this is the short little response that I did to him, offering to let him like retract all this stuff, which he did not. And let's see here. Here we go. Okay. So this is like early days, guys. This was when did I put this video up? This was where's the date on this thing? Oh, it's not showing the date of when it was. Anyway, okay, so this was my response to his.
YouTube remove dates on there because it's offensive.
What's up, everybody? John Maddox here. This is a quick pre-response video reply to Godless Engineer, who the other day decided to attack one of my videos on why evolution has become a central component of the new atheist movement and way to circumvent the need for God in order for life to exist. Now, he specifically attacked my core position, which was that the genetic code is a code base and it's a programming language that enables life to exist and is not purely chemical reactions. Ironically, he responded back and said, yes, it was just chemical reactions, and basically that I didn't know what I was talking about. So, given the fact, Godless Engineer, that you can see some of my later points and comparisons, that it was not a reasonable conclusion that a code base of any kind would be able to come into existence without existing prior to its execution. Before I spend the time to really dive into why you're stunningly ignorant and uneducated in regards to this whole topic, I would like to grant you the opportunity to retract your positions, or I will be forced to embarrass you in regards to your stunning lack of knowledge and how you apparently are part of the brainwashed demographic that seems unable to actually read basic literature and comprehend what's actually being put forth, and how something directly entails and is not purely analogous to a computer language. So, I look forward to your response. Do you retract, or shall I proceed to embarrass you?
I like that. I like that a lot.
I love one thing I noticed was I love how his followers are in the comments crying about how it's wrong for you to attack him and whatnot, but they have no moral basis whatsoever to say that it's wrong for you to be attacking him. Just a fun thought.
Yeah, with Enlightenment atheism, I would agree, but atheism itself is very broad, right? So, like, you can be an atheist and still have a moral compass. I mean, we see them all the time in, like, Buddhists and Shintists. But moreover, the thing when I stopped taking a Godless Engineer seriously, really, is the fact when I found out he's a mythicist, right? Because, like, as far as I'm concerned, mythicism is basically Holocaust denial. Because if you're going to deny one universally historically attested to fact, why not another? Okay? Because, like, the issue is, just like Holocaust denial, there's only one reason you would deny such a universally historically attested to fact. And
Hey,
that's because it tracks to mind. There's no other reason.
In line with that, let's
There is no scholar in any college or university in the Western world who doubts that Jesus existed.
And today I'm going to be presenting my argument for why Jesus probably didn't exist. So first, what exactly is mythicism? Mythicism is the hypothesis that Jesus did not exist in history.
All right, YouTube.
Okay, well, at this point, he's lost all credibility.
Listen, all you have to do, right, is just say, what is Holocaust denial? It is the idea that 6 million Jews didn't actually die. And it's virtually the same argument. That's what it is. Because just like the Holocaust denial, you hold this position for one reason alone. you have an axe to grind against a particular group, whether it's theological, political, or what else. That's the only reason you hold a position like this.
That's a good point, Phil. It's a good point. Very good point.
Yeah, it's just.
In fact, one of the preeminent mythicists, which is I think Richard Carrier, right? One of his arguments, right, for the reason that Jesus didn't exist, is basically like, well, we don't see Jesus in history. We don't see any busts of him. We don't see any real material evidence outside of the four Gospels. Like we don't have anything that belonged to him, right? Most of his relics are gone. Now, as a Catholic, I would disagree with that last part. But what's going on here, this is comparable to when a Holocaust denier will say, well, you know what, Auschwitz had like wooden doors, and so the cyanide gas, when it was being used, would have killed the guards and the inmates at once. The issue is that the issue is like in Auschwitz, instead of using cyanide gas in those early stages, they use carbon monoxide. So again, that objection, it has no weight. And in a similar way, Jesus Christ was an apocalyptic preacher. He was an ascetic. But by his very stature of life, he wouldn't leave behind these physical materials by which we can affirm his existence. Like 99.99% of everybody, he left nothing around that would prove he ever existed anyway. And so the fact is, Richard Carrier is unable to see that very elementary destruction to his argument, only highlights his bigotry against the ideas of Christianity. That's what's going on here. And in the same way, the reason the Holocaust denier dismisses this idea of carbon monoxide, and insists that like wooden doors kind of disprove the Holocaust, these arguments are submitted for the exact same reasons.
Yeah. Anyways, logical, plausible, probable. You had a video pulled up on the screen. I think you were going to continue on something like on what I asked you about godless. So I'd like to continue what you were saying, Rob, but I want to hear what LPP has.
Obviously don't actually research any of this stuff. It's fascinating to me that you have this many people that follow you and your level of knowledge is so low, and you're sitting there spewing these talking points that are so debunked. It's mind-bending. If you have a piece of iron, is it remotely plausible that without a grindstone, that piece of iron is going to turn into a sword? And without a fire?
This has no bearing
It does.
on
Answer the
what we're
question.
talking about.
It does. Answer the question.
Here, hold on. Let me. You asked me a question. Let me actually finish answering. Okay, John? All right. So let me give you a good example of how this of a code that arises naturally. Right. Take bumblebees for example.
Okay, so you're trying to resort to evolutionary signal theory, and which is quite honestly one of the stupidest arguments that evolutionists and atheists try to make, because it requires a completed pre-existing system. Like, do you not comprehend this?
Well, okay. Well, I mean, I asked the question first, so how about you just oblige me, and then maybe I can oblige you. Can you explain the word decimated for me?
You question my knowledge of coding. So, if you're writing, what is your background? You say you're an engineer. What is your background with coding?
If you're not going to allow me to answer the question, I'm not going to answer further questions. You understand me, John? This is an adult conversation.
Yeah, and you're dropping insults. You can't back up.
I've just come away from the opening, figuring out that you don't like me so much, it seems, as far as my response to you. I guess when you ask me, can codes, as far as we understand them, be generated naturally? Obviously, they can.
I'll put a dare on you. Would you have the CO Jones to go out on camera and literally tell people that PHP invented itself?
No, I wouldn't. But here, hold on. Let me. You asked me a question. Let me actually finish answering. Okay. All right.
If you don't think I made an argument against evolutionary theory, then I'm guessing you just are ignorant about evolutionary theories.
What I actually asked you to do was differentiate cause and effect from if then.
If then literally is a cause and effect, and
well,
it requires if thens require foreknowledge of the intended outcome. Correct?
I don't understand that bit. I also don't understand, but it seems to me that you just don't seem to really understand like logic gates as far as like coding and coding standards really go.
You just said I don't understand them, so debunk what I just said. Because if you want to continue on this rabbit hole, I will happily pull up.
Well, I mean, you're just baselessly.
So you're gonna make me pull up a paper and like prove it to you?
What?
You gonna make me pull up a paper and prove it to you right now? Okay, so are you now, number one, are you admitting that there is a code?
DNA can be interpreted as a
I don't know,
code.
is it literal or figurative? Dude, you obviously don't actually research any of this stuff. It's fascinating to me that you have this many people that follow you and your level of knowledge is so low, and you're sitting there spewing these talking points that are so debunked. It's mind-bending.
But it's ultimately a chemical that goes through different chemical reactions, different processes.
So were you paying attention at all during my opening?
I mean, yes, I've been paying attention to you.
Okay, so are you suggesting that you should fly over to the Royal Society and tell them that's not a literal code?
I would still appreciate you not, doing questions like that.
You insulted my knowledge of coding.
Well, that's not exactly dropping like personal insults against you, which I think is.
Given the fact that I owned a software development company and worked in multiple tech startups, yeah, I think I know a little something about this. So what is your background?
I didn't know that.
There is no chemical reaction between the codon and the amino acid. It is literally being read. This is a recognized premise in biology, in cellular biology, information theory, that there is literally a read of data being executed by the ribosome. There is no chemical reaction. So to argue that there's nothing but cause and effect, chemistry is absolutely eviscerated at the fundamental of the creation of a protein. There is no chemical reaction between them.
It's ultimately a chemical that goes through different chemical reactions, different processes.
There is no chemical reaction. This is a well-recognized premise.
It would behoove you not to comment me or to put words in my mouth. I'm just saying that's not how adult conversations work, okay?
How could binary come into existence without an intelligent agent to assign the values to each side of the data set?
DNA can be interpreted as a code.
I don't know, is it literal or figurative?
I believe.
Got this. I don't know how you put engineer after the second part of your name, because if you, number one, your level of ignorance on this topic is so mind-bending. I do not know how you actually think you're making a remotely coherent separation of these things. There's syntax for what this codon, this triplet of base pairs, equals, does not transform into, is equal.
and by the way, folks, I meant to call him out on this after the debate. If you actually look at his T-shirt, that is actually him using the freaking chemical codes, right, for the abbreviations to spell out another freaking word. Like, he clearly did not pick up on the irony of how, like. Anyway, I hope everybody picks up on that, because I meant to bash him. I meant to call him out on that, and I forgot to actually end up doing that. So while I'm playing this, I'm gonna.
Hey, John. Sorry, John. Can you do something for me real quick? Can you highlight the comment there? I wanted to respond to someone that said something very interesting. Can you just highlight my comment there? I just made it.
So by the logic he's giving, if everything's just chemical reaction, then we can't reason. We can only react. So there's literally no reason to believe him.
Right, and so cognizant retard kind of said this. There are some Jews who deny the numbers of the Holocaust, though. Suppose there is one also. Suppose there is a difference between those that follow Judaism and Zionism. One follows the Torah, one follows the Talmud. It's interesting he says this because there are actual Jewish Holocaust deniers, and they're anti-Zionist Jews, as in the object of their bigotry is the state of Israel, and what actually made how to put it. Historically, what actually resulted in the the flame that lit the tinderbox was actually the Holocaust, because it was the Holocaust that inspired other Jews to remake the Jewish state, the modern state of Israel that we have today. In many cases, in many large ways, is a response to the Jewish Holocaust of Europe. Now, should they ever be persecuted, should another genocide be waged, they have a homeland to go to. And other Jews don't like that. They don't like Zionism. And so for them, denying the Jewish Holocaust is equally as profitable as the anti-Semites. You know, they both groups have a vested interest in denying something like this.
No,
so I just wanted to use that as a response.
People do like to play both sides, that's for sure. Okay, I'll play a little more of this, and then I'll stop. And I get very, it's really bad, folks, because I actually really enjoy listening to this, and it never gets old to me to watch Godless Engineer facepalm. And by the way, part of the reason I played that little response video I did to him is about, so I was going to have to embarrass him. Well, let's just say fast forward 6 months later, I went into this debate with the expressed intent of utterly obliterating this fool.
Equal to this amino acid. I mean, this is such basic logic. I really don't understand how you're trying to argue this is separate. There are paper after paper. I read several of them this past 2 weeks. So was that all hypothetical, or were they actually doing direct comparison to a code base and its redundancy, its robustness, and its ability to store data?
It seems to me like evolution, naturalistic evolution, has just as good of an explanation as your God did it. I mean, I can't remember everything that you said in that Gish Gallop of,
You just missed my arguments, so back up your point.
Sure.
Which claims in particular?
How does arbitrary data values get assigned to a recognized code base through random undirected process? As an engineer, explain to me how that's remotely plausible.
Well, I mean, as I said, I've already explained this in this debate, that natural processes, natural chemical reactions would have resulted in the configuration that would have been most likely to survive, because it did survive. And so over millions of years and over a lot of trial and error.
So obviously you have never researched abiogenesis, because as of right now, the greatest number of base pair nucleotides they've managed to get to hook together without enzymes is 21. So, and that's in a non-prebiotic environment. They've gotten 21 to bind together. So your entire premise of somehow a syntax that has semantics and pragmatics being able to just over millions of years somehow form itself is not remotely backed up by the quote-unquote natural chemical reactions to which you are referring to.
I don't understand how this is prescriptive to the natural world.
You don't understand that? The point that is being made is that even in a controlled environment, which has exponentially reduced obstructions to the processes that you're referring to actually being executed, they can't do it. On purpose, they can't do it. So you're claiming through undirected natural process, things that we can't do on purpose somehow happened by accident. Is that your claim?
Thank you for inserting more words into my mouth.
Okay, well, let me dumb it down for you then. Are you suggesting that something that is not feasible in a lab is more likely to occur in an uncontrolled, violent environment?
Can I explain?
Let me talk now.
Oh, are you sure? Never mind. Sorry about that. So the way that this doesn't exactly correlate to the discussion of evolution is that God could totally exist. God could have created DNA. God, I mean, for the sake of the argument that we're having right now, that could totally plausibly be a thing. But that goes nowhere to address evolution.
The whole premise of evolution is that somehow the entirely new functions are able to spring into existence through undirected process. And we actually don't observe new data set functions coming into existence.
There are several.
No. What they have observed is modifications to existing data. This isn't something new. It's just the acceleration of something that was existing. So you're now looking at existing data being construed as supposed evolution versus it having to already have been there. I mean, are you comprehending what I'm saying here?
Yes, John. I comprehend what you're saying.
Explain it to me then.
What you're failing to understand is how epigenetics plays into evolution, because evolution is the only way to really understand why epigenetics happens.
No, you have to expand on that. You have to expand on that assertion.
Oh, real quick. Let's just let Godless finish.
No, he needs to expand on that assertion.
Yeah, that's why I don't really think he has much credibility.
So LPP, do you also go to playgrounds and punch kids in the head? Because that was freaking brutal.
No credibility. None of them have credibility with me. Not Matt Dillahunty, not Aaron Ross. None of them.
Because in my opinion, what a lot of these guys do is that they assert absolutely everything as if it's proven fact. It's absolutely dogmatic. It is undebatable. But like the probability and the sheer impossibility of everything they're saying is so infinitesimally small that like it's mind-bending, because like DNA is a code, like that's an established fact. Like if you're denying DNA has a code in it, then you're just denying scientific fact. So it's mind-bending to me that you have people like Godless that are willing to go to lengths that far just to try and deny the existence of God. It's crazy to me.
He's selling a used Cadillac. That's all I see.
Guys, I gotta get off. I'm tired. I have a big day tomorrow, so peace, y'all.
I appreciate your comment, info. Just go. Have a good night, man.
Peace.
Yeah, that's what always cracks me up is the super genius. Right after our debate, he actually did this, which really cracks me up to no end. I don't know if you can see that. He did a video literally titled John Maddox Doesn't Understand Chemistry, right? And this is a debate clip about me talking about the ribosomes and reading there'd be no chemical reaction between the codon and the amino acid. And he did this as a supposedly proving I don't understand the chemistry, right? Which is ironic given the fact that one of the reasons that I knew beyond all doubt that it didn't interact was...
So a triplet code with 4 bases covers everything we need here. Okay, we have start codons and stop codons we have to keep in mind listed here. Okay, and as a reminder, right, in translation, the amino acids are delivered by the amino acyl tRNAs. Okay, so the mRNA does not recognize these amino acids directly. We need the tRNAs that allows this reading to occur.
But no, I'm the one that doesn't understand the chemistry. But hey, whatever. Hey, what's up, Kelvy? How you doing, man? I know you haven't got to say much since you joined, and you've been in for a while because I've been on my godless engineer tirade. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you again, Kelvy.
Likewise.
Pure Aussie Gold says, I reckon Jackson and Bubble should discuss polytheism.
Well, would Jackson be interested in discussing polytheism?
I mean, if there could be one God, there could be many, I guess.
Yeah. Well, depend on Maddox's definition. Like, how would I say this? Just like in my own independent study of Christianity, I've kind of come to a conclusion. And a lot of this has been inspired by the works of like Dr. Richard Friedman and Dr. Michael Heiser. But I've come to the conclusion that Christianity, strictly speaking, is not entirely a monotheistic religion, but rather is more or less should be more defined as a monolatrist religion. And by that I mean that it can recognize the existence of other lesser beings or gods, but worships only the creator God. And this comes kind of by how a god was kind of defined and seen in the Old Testament, which is a lot to get into now. So if anyone wants to have that conversation, we can.
Well, perfect God. If we're not defining God as a perfect being, then sure, there can be billions of them, right? But
exactly, that's what I mean. That's why there's a creator God, a perfect being God, right? But there are lesser divine beings that aren't as perfect, yet more perfect than humanity. Does that make sense?
Well, if there can be more than one, well, I just don't think there logically can be more than one.
And again, that's why that's what monolatry is. It is the understanding that there are many divine beings, but only one, the creator God, is the one that deserves latria, worship. And in fact, monolatry literally means from the Greek.
Yeah, but you don't think putting God on the same classification as any other created being is very...
Again, I'm not doing that. That's actually what the Bible itself is doing. Because, like, again, this comes from the distinction is from a definitional point of view. For instance, how would I say? For instance, like when Saul goes to the witch of Endor and has like Samuel brought back from the dead, the text literally says, and the God arose up from the earth. The text is referring to Samuel in the same way it refers to Yahweh. Like,
what's the word? What word does it use?
Literally El in the not the Elohim, but I forget what variation of El it uses, but it uses the variation of the term El, where the God rose up from the earth.
Elohim is just a generic word for spiritual beings.
Exactly. And so what's going on, however, is that Yahweh himself is being referred to as a spiritual being, as kind of an El Shaddai, El Elyon, things like that. And so what's going on is that what the Israelites, what the ancient Israelites saw as a god, is any being that was part of the divine realm, and that could be a human soul, that could be an angel, a demon, that could be Yahweh himself. But there was a distinction, a huge difference between the God of the court, which is Yahweh, and lesser beings such as angels, demons, and human souls. Okay, and
It's the opposite of-
that's where that's where the monolatry comes from, because you affirm the existence of many gods, so to speak, but there's only one, the Creator God, that is worthy of your worship.
That's why there's a God of gods, King of kings, and Lord of lords. Because
Exactly, but
there's created gods, and then there's the God who created all other powers.
Exactly, jargon gets it. But here, by giving Yahweh those titles, the God of gods, you're basically implicitly assuming there are other gods, and that assumption would be right, because there are other lesser created gods, and it would be like, for instance, Baal and Marduk and Zeus and all these other pagan gods. These are real entities. They are real demonic presences and spirits, but they're not the creator God, and therefore they're not worthy of worship that is only due to the one creator God.
Okay, so the real position is there only one ultimate?
One ultimate God, yes. There is only one completely perfect, all-powerful God. Correct.
Okay, so then it would stand to reason that there is only one God.
Yeah.
Everything else would just be entities that are not limited in the same way as humans are.
Mm-hmm. And again, what we're running into...
Ultimately, that would go back to there is only one God. There aren't multiple gods. There are other...
And again, this is semantic... Sorry.
Okay, you love semantic games, bro. So we're gonna clarify semantic games, right? So if there can only be one ultimate, and God is the ultimate, then anything else, and it's only logical that there's only one ultimate, then everything else is not God, and is in the context of something like Baal, and is also not human, and can do something that humans can't do, and maybe not be limited to the physical currently, like we are to the physical form. That does not mean that they are a god. They are just not limited in the ways that we are, and may have abilities that we do not have. That does not make them a god, because there is only logically going to be one God.
I can agree here, because I can say God is a person, and people are persons, so we're all people.
Now the issue is, John is right in half a sense. This is a semantic issue, but what I'm actually describing, this isn't me playing semantic games. I am describing a God as ancient Israelites would have understood the term. I'm simply assenting to their definition of what they saw the divine realm as. That's it. That's all I'm doing. So if you think that's playing a semantic game, well, you can believe that, but that is the way that the Hebrew Bible that's the way the Hebrew Bible describes and these divine beings, or these otherworldly beings would be a more accurate word, right? So, if you want to say it's a semantic game, okay, but the Bible's also playing those games too.
But there's also false gods. People believed that these gods had power that they didn't actually have. They believed these gods could save, and they actually couldn't.
Right, and here's the thing, and I would agree with that, because no, the only God that can save is the complete God Yahweh, right? But the issue is that when even in the Torah, right, when the Israelites are kind of slaughtering their enemies, Yahweh actually says, how is it that 1,000 could die by your left and 10,000 by your right? How is it these men could die if their gods had not abandoned them? Which means Yahweh himself is ascribing agency to these so-called false gods, meaning that they are in fact members of the divine realm. They are part of the otherworldly realm. And no, Cheryl, I'm not tap dancing. This is what scholarship has to say about it, which you don't have. And so the issue what's going on here is that this is a semantic issue, because what we see as a god today is not how the ancient Israelites would have defined the term. And so what I'm doing here is just defining the term as the biblical authors did. Even in the New Testament, right? When Paul actually says that the pagan gods are demons and that they're sacrificing to them, he's ascribing a certain agency to these beings. And so they are kind of lesser gods, so to speak, but none that are worthy of worship. In fact, they're actually enemies of Yahweh, and thus every legitimate Christian should see them in equal capacity.
Would you say the opposite of biscuit is non-biscuit?
I don't understand where you're going with the question, but I would say yes.
Wouldn't it be donut? The opposite of a biscuit.
But there's another aspect going on here, is that there's the god of each nation had their own god, and they won wars attributing it to their god, to the power of their god, instead of attributing it to because it's each nation has their own power, their own abilities, their own power to influence or persuade other people or whatever. But instead of attributing that power to the God of gods, they attributed it to their false god, saying that the false god gave them that power.
Okay, so real quick interjection. So I just saw Jackson have his phone in his hand. So have you received communication?
Sure haven't.
Have you issued a follow-up?
No, I don't care.
Okay.
Okay, now that is full scale misrepresentation. Jackson is trying to act like the Western mainstream media in relation to Putin right now, and claim that he doesn't care about the fact that she has not responded. So
I'm not crying about it.
Well, I didn't say you were crying about it. I said you're lying about it. Okay, now, so are you going to issue a follow-up?
Maybe tomorrow. I don't know.
I mean, right at this point right now, dude, you're getting close to the offer, the Uber offer, man. What do you have to lose other than, like $30 if she accepts?
Nothing.
And do you have everything to gain?
Yeah, I got some stuff to gain.
Okay, so why are you not making the offer?
Because she hadn't responded yet.
So who cares? That's like saying in business you would never issue a follow-up because a potential client has not responded to your email or to your voicemail. Like, that's just dumb. Oh, they never respond. Therefore, I'm not going to follow up. Follow up.
Well, I'm having fun here, you know.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that all of this is more fun than if you got her to accept the offer? Seriously?
Absolutely.
You're lying again.
Yeah, I'm lying.
Okay, so make the offer.
All right, I might. Here in a second.
No, listen, obviously you need peer pressure, so make the offer.
You just said you really just want to use this person for sex, right?
Well, when you say it that way, it sounds bad.
Really? To who?
So, ladies and gentlemen, Jackson actually just admitted that inherently he has a conscience, and that perhaps he thinks that the complete and utter debauchery of non-relationship fornication would not be a good idea. Is that what you're actually trying to say, Jackson?
No, but using people is bad.
Well, that's very true. Well,
what's you have there?
But
nice haircut, man.
I'm more just curious to see if you actually will make the offer and then give yourself no excuses. Or perhaps
I'll make it tomorrow.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing here right now is Jackson is actually not having the CO Jones to go for it all. That's what's happening. And he's using this as an excuse to complain about the fact that the girls won't come, but he's not asking. Oh,
yeah, Cheryl makes a good point. She is depressed, so that's kind of another reason I'm holding back, honestly.
So that is bovine scatology. Earlier, Jackson, you were whining about the fact that she was depressed.
I know. I'm saying she won't. I don't know how to.
So you don't think that perhaps she is depressed because she feels like nobody cares?
I don't know why she's depressed. She's.
You said she's been talking to you about it for the last 3 days, and you don't know why. Okay, hang on. So you've been in communication for 3 days and don't know why, even though she's been talking to you about this. Did you not think, hey, maybe you should ask and find out?
Something about her dad, or I don't know.
Oh man, this is like a Oh man, what's the term for? I'm having a late night brain freeze. What's the term for a like the stereotypical example? There's a term for that. Oh man, case study of. What's up, Wesley? What are you showing us, man? Wesley, you're on mute, man. We can't hear what you're saying. Wesley, you're on mute. We see the picture. We don't know what you're saying.
A prototype for a flesh laser printer. It prints the mark of the beast onto the right hand wrist or forehead, the 666, in the form of a UPC barcode. It's the way to join the Satan cult, Omni. And every person that joins it gets $32,000 in cryptocurrency to spend in stores. And without the mark, you cannot go into those stores. Also, all that take that mark of the beast will get a disease that shows their dead, gray, ashen souls in the flesh. And then on the day Jesus gives me to tell that vision that no one wants to talk about, the foot cut off, and the pit, and the two little creatures, and the circle saws, and the orange, red, and bottom leaves, I tell that vision at Mecca and turn it to dust, and Jesus destroys like that every Quran, Torah, and perverted text Bible on earth, and everyone that has that omnivar falls dead in the street.
So let me get this straight, Wesley. You're creating the prototype for the Mark of the Beast?
No, I believe you all have been given a lot more visions than me. That you all have seen these things. I am not given very many of them, only rarely and like that. And this is something that I saw.
Where'd you find that?
I drew that.
Oh, you drew that?
Yeah. I drew that from what I saw in my head.
Okay.
And this week?
Yeah, about a week, about 5, 6, 7 days ago or so. No, shut you again. I think
so.
This is the laser point that touches the skin and burns the flesh, and it's probably going to be, like an old cell phone in size, just a little bit grotesque, a little bit big, because it has to make Wi-Fi or computer contact, either Bluetooth or internet, to couple the number that burns in and to synchronize that with the counterfeit bank account.
All right.
Like in a Total Recall remake.
So real quick, a never Trumper has claimed that Mitt Romney would be the best choice for president in 2024. Oh, man, I tell you what, we have some of the dumbest people in politics right now. I mean, if anybody,
I think everyone is somehow or another drunk or dull. Not that you're not intelligent, and far more intelligent than I am in many ways and many things. But there's just something everywhere that people are something dull about.
Yeah, I think they're hearing voices all day long, and they believe the voices they hear all day long. That's what I think.
I'm not talking about just you fellas and me. I'm talking about everybody everywhere on earth.
Yeah, everybody on earth, basically.
Yeah. There's some kind of a dullness. There's something dulled inside of people's heads that they're seeing something and they're not coming out with it. So.
Well, I think we have madness everywhere. It's a bunch of crazy people around the world, and I think that sometime in like summer of 2020, we jumped the shark. Like the world jumped the shark in terms of the people in charge are so far out to lunch that it's just like I can't even take them serious. I mean, Jackson, for example, did you see what's in the face Kamala Harris's speech in like press conference stuff in Poland?
Yeah.
Oh my
laugh she did.
I mean, that woman is. How is she the vice president of the United States? Like second from being in the most powerful position in the world.
Yeah,
It's a joke.
And
It's a joke.
like she's so dumb. I mean, it's embarrassing, like how dumb that woman is. Like the fact that she is. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's
And like Joe Biden's not much better either. He's a joke too. They're all jokes.
Well, if anything, Joe Biden is Joe Biden's in a whole nother stratosphere. I mean, as dumb as Kamala Harris is, Joe Biden's on a whole other level of senility and just like the dude he never made it to the farm. Okay, his mind is somewhere else. And I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we have a fake prop White House or Oval Office. Okay, there is a very high probability that it's very, very rare that Joe Biden is actually in the White House. I mean, he's been in Delaware in the basement while Putin is conquering Ukraine and punking the entire world. And Biden is in the basement hanging out with the freaking geese from his pond. I mean, we're talking about a dude who in the campaign, I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but there were not one, there were not just one, there were multiple instances during live interviews where he literally trundled off in the middle of being questioned. They just walked off camera and they had to shut off the camera and be like, technical issues. It's like, no, it wasn't a technical issue. It was he is senile issue. And he just walked off camera. I mean, it blew me away. And and then the media never covered it. It's, anyway, I'm not going to go on a tangent about that guy, but it's so bad.
I thought it was funny when he tripped and fell down the stairs to the plane.
What? Not once, not twice, but 3 times? Yeah.
Did it happen that many
He
times?
fell into another dimension. How many times can you fall down?
Yeah, it's so bad. I mean, he fell asleep in the middle of the G8 conference. You guys remember that? I mean, he literally dozed off in the middle of the freaking meeting. He's fallen asleep at conference tables. I mean, we have, he needs to be in a nursing home, special care, not in a somehow supposedly running the world.
Oh, he's exactly the puppet they need.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he's exactly. I agree for the crazy oligarchy that's running the planet right now. I agree, he's perfect. But
I've stopped thinking things are incompetence, and at this point, just think that it's completely malicious.
Yeah, but they're destroying everything. They're destroying the whole world, and it's totally unnecessary.
Well, I agree it's unnecessary, but if your stated objective is to eliminate 90% of the world's population by 2030, I mean, if that's your stated objective, then to Kelby's point, like, yes, everything they're doing is like completely on par. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the reports coming out, but like the food crisis that we're on going 1,000 miles an hour to, like they're projecting by the end of the year, we're going to be in a full scale food crisis on a global level. So, and it's already happening in the third world. It's not that far away from the second world. And if anybody has been to the grocery store lately, it's starting to like creep into the first world too. If you're not paying attention, you should, because it's getting real. And you need to not be an idiot and like at least store up some food. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like go full scale prepper, but if you don't have some food in your like store that you're not touching, you are living in a very, very brave world. You're being very brave. That's all I got to say on that one.
Any suggestions for food buckets? I keep procrastinating. I want to get some of those.
Oh yeah, I got big old plastic tubs, bought them freaking Costco, and then got them stacked full of freaking canned goods. I basically went and bought a bunch of stuff that has a minimum of a 2-year shelf life, and filled up some tubs. And right now, I think I've got about like, with being careful, I've got somewhere between 6 to 8 months worth of like food that I could survive on with my family.
So you wouldn't suggest getting those like, those like specialized like $40 you could send like.
Why not just eat your family when things go south?
Because unlike you, Jackson, I don't view them as just my fellow animals, and I'm not going to eat them. I know that you will be easily able to transfer over into being a cannibal, but unfortunately, I am not able to do so.
You could spend hundreds of dollars on that food, stocking up and stuff if you want. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's all the there's the long-term storable food. That stuff's pretty expensive, but it might not be bad to have. But I've got other stuff. Like I bought a couple big ass tubs of like protein powder and stuff like that. So it's like, it has a pretty good shelf life. And
well, just a regular trip to the supermarket is pretty costly in itself.
Oh yeah, it's getting crazy now. That's what I'm saying. Like you want to start buying stuff now because there's all the major manufacturers like farm corporations and stuff are coming out publicly and saying like, hey, our production costs are going up 300, 400, 500, 600, 800%.
I kind of love lentil beans, but I can't find cat food, man. That's what's really pissing me off.
I'm of the thought that the gas will peak at $10 a gallon in America.
There's no telling. I mean, they were projecting. There's people making commodities gambles right now at $300 a barrel, and we're at $130 right now. So
it's somewhat sadly hilarious that they could up the amount that they produce of oil and lower the price to $1 a gallon right now. It could be done easily.
Well, we have the illustrious Biden White House saying that we just need to bite the bullet and
buy a green car
and buy
a battery chargeable car.
Oh, and that little stupid person who said that you just need to go buy a freaking electric vehicle, like you freaking idiot. Where if we don't have the fuel, how are we going to produce the power that you put into your electric car's battery from your house? Have you thought this through? Obviously, you haven't. I mean, it amazes me how many imbecilic liberals I've talked to who do not seem to comprehend the premise that just because you didn't put gas in your car doesn't mean that the energy or what was used to produce the energy which you put into your car was not produced by natural gas, petroleum products, or coal.
It would not surprise me that the price of a haircut goes up to $240.
Well, I don't know about that, but
that's why I don't cut my hair. I mean, that's why I don't let anybody cut my hair. I cut it myself.
Well, look at the ruble. It's now not even worth 2 cents, where it used to be worth 50 cents.
Well, at one point it was actually up to it was about 85 cents right before this, but
the inflation will make it that a haircut costs $240.
Oh, I mean, our inflation is going to go through the roof. It's guaranteed. But which is why I say buy food now. Stock up a few tubs of food because a can of mixed veggies is going to be going up through the roof.
Or do this. Jesus, I'm evil. I don't really believe in your forgiveness. I saw a foot that got cut off and didn't bleed, and I'm double-tongued and double-minded and double-hearted, and I saw two creatures that looked like they were out of a Harry Potter movie. One, they enjoyed cutting off the foot and smiled about it. They didn't say anything. And everyone saw the vision, and that's the green grass. Would you give these guys in this place right now or in this next hour or so some food of your choice, Jesus? Free? Tell the vision, and you won't need the mark.
So we're supposed to eat severed feet? I don't know. Is what?
No, well, as word food, yes.
Well, Jackson, are you having an issue with eating severed feet since you are suggesting cannibalism?
No, I have no issue with it. I'm just asking.
Oh, okay. So you don't discriminate. So are you actually saying that you are a foot fetish cannibal?
Absolutely. That is what I'm saying.
I knew it. Knew it.
I don't like being the Poe of the group, but in Scripture, it is those that won't eat the bread are going to be eating their sons and daughters. And yes, I know that QAnon perverts this, saying that it's from Congress kind of thing. But when America gets invaded and attacked and overrun by the Chinese, they're going to separate the children from the moms and dads, and that's what they're going to do with those kids. They're going to put them in a slaughterhouse and chop them up into meat and serve them as hamburgers.
Yeah, I agree with you, Utopia.
I don't like being the downer, but it's real.
Sorry, I asked for a block of flats, not an abattoir.
So I agree with you, Toby Buster says Russian oil embargo will decrease worldwide food production by 50%. Agreed. They're the number 2 fertilizer exporter on the planet who is now exporting none. I mean, yes, we're going to have a massive food issue. Very soon.
I think Putin just said they're going to not export basically anything now.
Well, other than with China.
Right. Nothing to the Western nations.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that are, well, and the thing that's really getting me is the amount that the Western media is propagating the falsity that Russia's economy is like massively dependent on Western countries. It's like, if you look at their export numbers, they're not that big. And they like the export and import numbers are not that massive. And yeah, would it affect their economy slightly? Yes, of course. But is it going to like cause this complete collapse like everybody's talking about? No. Especially given the fact this, and I'm guessing this is part of the gamble Putin's making, is that Westerners they operate under the news cycle, and they're going to be really whiny and loud for a short period of time. As we discussed earlier, they're not actually going to do anything.
And then forget about it.
And then in a very short period, when it's no longer politically popular, and people and Americans and Westerners get bored, then they'll just leave them alone, and magically things will start to come back to normal. That's what I think may happen. But there's also the unknown variable of how far the globalists are willing to go in terms of the Great Reset and collapsing the global economy, which is
how slow they're willing to go, isn't it?
People make a big fuss. People make a big fuss about something, and then after a while they just forget about it, and then they go ahead and do whatever they wanted to do anyway.
In Scripture, people shall be oppressed, and the oppressors shall be oppressed.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of craziness.
7 years.
Okay. All right. I told myself I was not going to stay up all night, so we are calling this one a night. It's midnight.
Good night.
Or Friday, Saturday.
So let's do last round of for everybody, and then we will call it an evening. So let's see. Wesley, you want to go first?
I'm an evil man. I blame people. I accuse people, and mostly out of my imaginations. And I fail you guys. And when I fail you guys by blaming somebody other than myself for anything, I fail you. And when I fail you, I fail God. He is Jesus. And he showed me a big, full white moon in the sky. Now, it was reflecting light, but none of the light was of the moon. It was reflected upon it, like my blaming. My blaming is the light of the world in the valley, but where in reality, my little moon is nothing but dead gray ashes. And I fail you guys when I don't get involved. And when I don't get involved, I'm like a palm tree. And the top leaves, I'm like a palm tree that the top leaves are dark green, and the bottom leaves are dark green with an orange-red center, and none of the trunks are straight. None of them have branches. They're all uniquely curved, and there's weeds and crabgrass growing. Will you guys just say, I saw green grass and drink my Jesus, and that means everybody saw it. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate you, Wesley. Kelby, what's up, man? What you got last words for tonight?
Thanks for having me. The world's absolutely wicked. Jesus Christ is the answer. Wesley, you have nothing to worry about because Jesus Christ took all of your sins. So you're good, man. Just believe and repent. And thank you. And don't believe anything. God bless.
Right on. And Jackson, I hope you will A, have good last words, and B, I hope you, once we come off camera, I hope you will make the offer. Good.
I will do that. But yeah, the world's going downhill pretty quick, and I'm not religious, so I have no one to turn to. So But anyway, I'm going to watch the war unfold on Twitter the rest of the night. That's what I've been doing, staying up all night watching it unfold. So see you guys next time.
So hang on. I think we have discovered why this girl doesn't want to come over. Do you know why, Jackson?
Why?
Because she doesn't want to have to compete with Putin. That's why.
Yeah, maybe so.
She knows that you're obsessed and will be more interested in watching the war live than spending time with her.
That might be it.
All right, Fro, what's up, man? You got last words?
Yeah. I just want to say, I guess, pray the rosary and Viva Cristo Rey. I don't got much to say other than that.
Right on. Appreciate you guys coming. Jungle, any last words?
Yeah. I'm encouraged a little bit because, as you guys might know, that I have all these ideas and everything, and sometimes it doesn't seem like too many people are excited about my ideas. But I've been getting some positive feedback on my my physics analysis or my physics observations or whatever. Some people have actually come back and said, on physics channels, agreeing with it and giving me thumbs up and everything on it. So I'm
that's awesome, man.
Slightly encouraged.
That's awesome. Well, a lot of these things people don't want to actually give any kind of real analysis or real consideration of it. It's like, oh, that doesn't agree 100% with what I've been told is 100% true. Therefore, it can have no substance or any potential validity. And it's just like with, all the YouTube Evo atheists who insist that there is absolutely nobody in academia who agrees with the original Copenhagen interpretation. And it's like, well, there are, and they've written books on it. And if the Copenhagen interpretation is true, the original one is true, then it actually it's massive evidence in favor of God. And it also answers a lot of questions from a cosmological perspective. But you guys want to act like it doesn't exist. That doesn't mean it's not actually a potentially viable explanation for, of one of the requirements for our existence. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. Well, folks, I appreciate everybody sticking with us for the last couple of hours, having a good time and sharing your thoughts and having good side chat combos and back and forth. And I think we had a pretty fun conversation overall. There's some people being judgmental and claiming that we shouldn't be having those kind of combos, but hey, I think it's fun. We're all adults, and having a little entertainment on a Friday night in the middle of the end of the world is not all that shabby. And even though it wasn't total dumpster fire, we had a few moments of dumpster fire here and there. But most importantly, we had a little bit of Jackson Rambo action, and we'll have to see if he's able to. Well, we'll look forward to follow up to see if he's able to have gone for the Uber call. So anyway, all that in mind, folks, I hope you have a great night. Enjoy your weekend. And as I always say at the end of these things, as you contemplate all the different aspects necessary for your existence, as you use the critical thinking skills that hopefully you still have access to if you have not been completely brainwashed and are not suffering from exacerbated cases of AFLPC and Droid C, you will be able to utilize them and ultimately come to a conclusion. But whatever conclusion you reach, it better be logical, plausible, and probable. Have a good night, everybody.